Hi parents, and welcome to the art garden. First, I want to say thanks for all the great feedback. It was really fun reading the emails, and I love that some of you have posted on Facebook this first week, and it was great. One of the things I love the most was that it wasn't just kids, it was parents that were doing art with kids and art by themselves, and that's the purpose of this blog, is just to bring art to your families and bring the joy that comes with it. So I just want to emphasize, there's no right way or wrong way to do these projects. You can do them with your kids can do them separate, you can do them. I'm just happy people are doing art. So this week I was inspired by my two house guests, Ginger and Carmi, two dogs, to do something with animals. So we're going to build on the concept of shape, and the kids are going to be drawing animals this week. So I want to show a little book. This book is called Make a World, but there's also one by Ed Emberley that is specifically about animals. This is a great little book, and not just for little kids, for older kids too, especially ones that are concerned about drawing. What it does is it breaks down how to draw animals into the very, very basic shapes. And I have seen kids of all ages really enjoy this, and it builds nicely on what we talked about last week, which was organic shapes, but this is geometric shapes. So the kids are going to be drawing an animal. Here's a couple samples I have. Here's a cat my son did. And actually this was done through ArtCore. I want to, not this lesson, but this specific picture, which is a great program in the elementary schools, but this is a different lesson that I'm teaching. So they're going to be drawing an animal, and I'm going to break that down for them in the video. And you're going to have two choices. And the lesson that I did with the older kids, I used oil pastels. You can get this specific set at Michael's for $5, and it's great. Or there's smaller sets. You can even get like the drugstores for maybe $2. Oil pastels are really fun. And next week, the lesson I'll be doing is going to be specifically with oil pastels. So we'll be learning more of the properties of it, but today we'd just be drawing the animals with them. And that is why I'd recommend, I see we have a lot of 5-year-olds on the on the Facebook site. I think for the little ones, I'd recommend doing this with crayon, because it's a crayon resist project. And so I'll leave that up to you. There's really no wrong way, but oil pastels are crayons. And I've used sharp crayons. These are old ones. I'll get some new ones. You need paper. And you need paper that can hold water, because we are going to be drawing the animal and then doing a wash over them. So it doesn't have to be watercolor paper, but it can be. Although sometimes the texture of the watercolor paper makes it hard to draw. So this is kind of a nice paper. This is a mixed media paper. This is expensive, but I bought this on sale. So what I do is I just kind of hang out at Michael's with my coupons, and when I see things I want, I buy them over time. So you're not going to necessarily have everything right away, but you can use watercolor paper, or you can use like a thick cardboardy kind of paper. Just sort of test it first and make sure it will hold water. Typing paper won't work great with this, but it will work. So you can use typing paper if you need to. I find though, if you can get hold of some of the better papers, the kids have more success and they feel better about what they're doing. But it doesn't matter. Making art is making art. So, okay, paper, the crayons, and you need brushes. And the brush, I'd recommend a brush about this size. You can see this is about about a half an inch. The reason why I'd recommend this over one of your smaller ones, excuse me, like one of these, is because we're going to do a wash. We're not painting the picture in watercolor. What we're going to do is, here's another sample, is when it's done, we're going to go over, like, see this cat. We're going to go over the cat in a color, and then maybe have 1 or 2 background colors. So I wouldn't use more than 3 colors. Gets a little confusing. So that's the supplies: paper, brushes, and again, this brush was part of a set I got at Michael's for $5 for all the brushes. So I really have done quite well there. This is a great brush for the preschoolers. I got this at Lakeshore. And these were a little more expensive, but I think I've had these like 7 years. Long time. So that's the supplies. That's the project. I think that's it. I think you watched the video. This one's a little bit more labor intensive. You know, you may want to cover your table with newspaper. You may want to put a little shirt on your child, especially if you use oil pastels. They're a little tacky and they don't always come off. But that's it. I hope to see you on the Facebook page. And, okay, I do have one more thing. Modifying this for the 5-year-olds, because I see there's a lot of 5-year-olds. If conceptually, this is over your kid's head, and like, for example, this would be conceptually over my 5-year-old's head because she has Down syndrome. If I told her to draw a cat, she would not be able to do that. So say you have a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old, you have a couple options. You could draw the cat for them and have them do the painting part, but what I'd recommend is just do a crayon resist project. Let them draw a drawing with their crayons and then paint over it. There are endless possibilities with that, especially if you use white, you know, like white and then paint over it with blue. It's really fun to see the crayons pop out. You know, you can sort of see it here. It's almost magical what happens with a crayon resist project. And again, this is an oil pastel, but it's just fun. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Next week we'll be doing something with pastels. I will be doing the follow-up for both these lessons on Sunday. I want to give people an extra week with Matisse. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.